In 2022, Sask Power started asking Saskatchewan residents for their input to help shape how the province is powered from 2030 and beyond. These discussions are helping inform our long-term power supply plan. We gathered input on values, priorities, and preferred power supply options, which informed the creation of multiple scenarios that show potential future power supply mixes. One of these scenarios is known as Diverse Mix 2035. It's characterized by the goal of achieving net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2035 through a diverse mix of power supply options. Within this scenario, 4 key graphs offer insight. The first is the rate increase graph, which shows how power rates would rise compared to rates in 2023. Next is CO2 emissions, which illustrates the emissions generated in this scenario. In the bottom left is the What We Will Have graph, which represents the maximum electric capacity under perfect conditions. And on the bottom right, you'll find the How We Will Use It graph, which shows the expected energy production. Please note that not all supply options are included in this scenario. That's because this scenario represents what a diverse mix could look like using the information and data that's available to us today. The supply options that make up the Other label include biomass, geothermal, flare gas, waste heat, and solar from net metering customers. We review and update our long-term supply plan about every 2 years as regulations, technologies, and customer expectations evolve. Now, let's dive into Diverse Mix 2035. On the left, you'll see the maximum amount of power available from each source, compared to how much energy we anticipate using from each source on the right. You'll see a significant drop in emissions once conventional coal units are retired in 2029 due to federal regulations. The small amount of coal you see remaining is from carbon capture and storage, which will come offline by 2035. And then there's another smaller drop in 2035 as restrictions on natural gas units increase. You'll also see that as emissions reduce in the lead-up to 2035, rates increase sharply. In 2034, you'll see the first nuclear facility coming online, followed by the first natural gas plant with carbon capture and storage. You can also see our emissions are very low by this point. You'll notice the anticipated energy requirements line increases over time. This is due to factors like population growth and electrification, like the adoption of electric vehicles. Any excess power beyond that line we can sell to our neighbors. Here we can compare the availability of natural gas on the left and how little we use it on the right. Over time, we end up relying on our nuclear generation capacity at a higher rate than our other options. As with all our scenarios, increasing interconnections with our neighbors will be necessary for ensuring system reliability and operability. Let's switch gears and look at the anticipated rate increase. This percentage means that if your bill is $200 a month in 2023, it would be $521 in 2050. But keep in mind that many factors influence rates, so that dollar figure is likely to change. The amount of land necessary in this scenario to build new power facilities would total about 127 quarter sections. That's nearly half the size of the city of Regina. As with any of the scenarios, there are certain challenges associated with Diverse Mix 2035. In this option, the supply chain is strained, which could lead to project delays and challenges in hiring the workforce we need. Some technologies we need to rely on aren't yet commercially available, like nuclear power from small modular reactors and natural gas with carbon capture and storage. This pathway would also require about $56 billion in today's dollars to realize. This would put a significant pressure on power rates. Transforming the grid to ensure reliability and stability in just 11 years is also an enormous undertaking on a very tight deadline. And that 11-year timeline means there's no room for error. Every aspect must work smoothly. These challenges make the scenario so risky that it becomes unfeasible to realize by 2035. To see how our other scenarios compare to Diverse Mix 2035, check them out at saskpower.com/engage.